Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GLORIO Chat, the best anime podcast on the internet. Got yet another season winding down here. Our 10th anniversary season's already practically over, which means it's time for season previews for fall 2022. And are you guys ready to watch a sequel of every show that you've watched in the past 5 years?
Yeah, I'm certainly ready to have, by my estimation, like at least 7 shows I'm going to have to watch weekly, and that number gets pushed into the double digits of shows I will probably have to watch at least the first 3 episodes of.
Yep.
That's there's a lot, and most of it is, big name returning shows.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few big names in there, and a handful of new things coming in. But we'll get into all that. Let's start by introducing everybody, though. As usual, I'm Jel. I'm joined by Iro.
I'm not dead yet.
Still with us. We're joined by G.
We wanted something meatier last podcast, and it looks like we're getting it this season.
I don't know. We already had a 2-hour episode last time. We might be. I guess we might be pushing it again this time. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And we're joined by Zig.
God save the king.
Oh God.
I don't know. King's Paninis doesn't really roll off the tongue as well.
Zig, I'm surprised you're here and not officially in mourning or something.
Well, you can't see me, but I'm dressed all in black. I have black veils over my computer monitors.
You didn't have any ceremonies to attend or something.
They did the proclamation ceremony in my town center this morning.
Do you guys have to replace all the portraits in your house with the new monarch?
All the portraits in our house, all of our tea towels with the queen on them, they all have to be replaced.
You said proclamation ceremony. I'm just imagining some guy pulling up with a scroll.
No, that's what it is.
It really is
what it is.
It's all fucking theater.
You gotta throw away your bundles of queen incense and buy the new king incense. For your shrine.
Yeah. It's going to be economically ruinous. The reason that the United Kingdom will be in a recession for years is definitely not because of all the other shit. It's because the country will have to dump thousands of assets of Queen Elizabeth merchandise.
Yes,
it's
and not all the other horrible decisions happening.
All of that shit.
It's wild how your country is now ruled by both a literal and a metaphorical Muppet.
Yeah, it's amazing. Huh?
All right, we need to put UK politics aside and talk about some anime. So,
boy, do we!
The only place where incest is more acceptable than the UK monarchy.
West Virginia.
Well played. So we've got the new season, fall 2022, coming up soon upon us. And we will start with a whole lot of returning shows, including many high-profile Shonen Jump. We have our Shonen Jump Power Hour we can kick things off with. Yeah, we have at least one Power Hour every episode now at this point. But we'll start with... I'm going to guess, Iro, did you add this?
I did.
Okay, well, Bleach is coming back, and the actual title is 1,000-Year Blood War. Does that sound about right?
So
no, it only feels like 1,000 years.
The old Bleach anime, which was one of those, airs every week, super long running, the first half of every episode is a recap.
Yes.
Lived through the jump from SD to HD, and so all flashbacks had to have letterboxing. Bleach anime, notably declined and was canceled during an arc.
Yes, this is sort of the interesting thing about Bleach that I think I've even mentioned a couple of times on this podcast, that Bleach has seen a really baffling cultural renaissance
resurgence. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot, like it's sort of a Star Wars prequel trilogy thing of like, I think I noticed this like 2 or 3 years ago.
I mean,
suddenly
it's exactly
started
the same thing, right? All the kids who grew up watching that became
yes,
adults
and I think
with
that's what it
disposable
is.
income.
Because I started seeing a lot of people be like, actually, Bleach was pretty good. Bleach.
GameSpot put out a noted article several years ago saying that Bleach is like extremely underrated manga. They said it was the Game of Thrones meets the X-Files.
Oh my god. God, I remember that.
You can't see me, but I'm rolling my eyes.
But it is
pinballs
interesting because as some of the old heads here will remember, Bleach was the one of the big 3 that legitimately got so unpopular during its own run that
it got canned. The anime got canned.
Well, the anime did, and so it's...
And for clarification, the big 3 were Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece.
Yes,
correct.
So.
Of the time, yes.
Of the time, yes, and so it's really interesting to. Because, as you alluded to, Iro, Bleach came from a very specific era of Weekly Shonen Jump anime adaptation.
Yes.
The filler arcs, the filler characters, the
filler characters who have to stick around during the real arcs.
Yes, the recap episodes, and yet now Bleach is going to come back in what I would call the
high budget,
prestige era of Shonen Jump anime adaptations. Like, it's going to come out in a post Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen world, and
the trailers look good.
They do.
They've announced it will be a 4-core split over time thing.
Okay, and this is the end.
Yes,
this is the end of the series, right?
The final arc of the manga, which I did not like at all.
Which was dog shit. That's the really funny thing about this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wasn't the consensus on the Bleach manga that it actually kind of fizzled to a close?
Yeah.
It wasn't very good.
Yes.
The thing about Bleach is that every time the author started a new arc or needed new ideas, he would just dump in 24 new characters, and he does it again. And so it is every character fighting some other new character for what feels like forever. And the problem is, especially, is that all of the characters that have been around who fans have come to love for whatever reason, they just repeatedly get their asses beat to show how cool and strong the new villains are. And it's every time, right?
In a lot of ways,
heroes, check out my Bankai that I've trained for, seek my true hidden power. And the fans go, finally, they've revealed their true hidden power that's been hinted at all along. And then they still lose. And you just go this sucks, actually.
Yeah. It's
over and over.
So this is going to be really interesting because
eat this up, though, right?
Because of the next show we have on our list, it is very interesting to see the return of the shonen that we all thought was the most emblematic of the problem of long-running shonen writing. I don't know what to do. Quick, introduce more characters.
Yeah.
And Bleach perfected the art of introducing new characters every arc.
Yeah. What I will say, though, about the resurgence of a Bleach anime is that the soundtrack to the anime was always great.
Yeah, I mean...
Hero was by Shiro Sagisu of...
I was going to say...
Evangelion and Dynazenon fame.
Would you say that, if considering this season, that if you want to see some action, is Bleach going to be the center of attraction?
Center of attraction. Yes. So, I mean... sure, I'll watch the trailers, and I'm Bleach sucks, and I think this arc sucks, but then I hear the music, and I'm that is a good theme.
That is a good theme song.
I was going to say, I mean...
Yeah.
You guys have at least a little bit of nostalgia for this,
sure.
though?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think it was ever written particularly well, but it had an undeniable sense of style.
Yes.
If you were, a goth anime teen or some shit, it was probably your favorite of the big 3.
Yes, it was the one for the alt kids.
Black and had swords.
Yes. It always because I was never a Bleach fan. I don't really know anything about it, even compared to the other two. But it always seemed the most aggressively toony of the big
Straight
three,
up, dude.
even more so than Naruto.
Absolutely.
Like, but I
100%.
don't know. Like, it's cool to be cringe these days, right? You know, do not kill the. You know, so I think it's cool at least that they get to come back and close the circle.
Yes.
You know,
Well, by all accounts, like, I'm not excited to watch this, but I think that it was not really fair that it got canned and didn't get to finish.
Right, just a few meters short.
I mean, let us be clear. Bleach, the quality of Bleach was falling off fast, but let us not pretend that, like, Naruto was keeping the quality up at the end either. Like,
it did a lot better than Bleach.
Like, in a world where we must be egalitarian about what manga deserve to finish their anime adaptation, if Naruto was allowed to cross the finish line,
right,
Bleach...
I will say, as somebody who has reread the manga of Naruto and Bleach all the way through during the pandemic, because what else was I going to do? Like Naruto does come out looking a lot better.
I mean, I think in the years since the big three were at their height, I think they have very solidly stratified into tier lists, you know, with One Piece at the top and Bleach at the bottom there.
Sure.
And that's not to diss Bleach, you know, but very clearly...
No, it's okay to diss Bleach.
Clearly operating on different levels of storytelling.
Right.
There.
I mean,
and like Naruto and Bleach are fairly close, and then One Piece is like way above.
Right. I would say like the evidence is that One Piece is still going. Naruto's sequel spinoff is still going, and Bleach's sequel spinoff fizzled out immediately. So
I mean, let's be clear. I mean, you know, again, unfortunately, more parallels than I would like to admit with the next show on our list here, but Tite Kubo is a good character designer and little else.
Yeah. You know,
well,
I liked 4 out of the 5 characters he designed for Shin Sakura Wars. So
all right, we can't get into Sakura Wars, but
let's move on to the aforementioned.
As you have alluded to, our next show is the return once again of My Hero Academia season 6.
Season 6.
Speaking of a shonen anime that I am rapidly falling out of love with, but then I hear the theme song and I go, damn, Yuki Hayashi really is good at music.
Yep.
I feel like when we first watched My Hero Academia, or like first read it in some cases, like every single person predicted this, which was, this is great, it's amazing, it's a breath of fresh air, it's probably going to be like
it can't keep it up
in 5 years.
Yes,
you know, and
that's kind of where we are. You know, this.
I mean, isn't that not the pattern with Shonen Jump?
Yeah, I mean, it is the life cycle of that kind.
Yes,
of manga.
like it is why, you know. It's funny that we're not putting it in here with the Shonen Jump Power Hour and that we've put it at the very bottom of this list, but, you know, I'll just allude to it that, in a lot of ways, the only way a Shonen Jump manga stays good is if it can end on its own terms. And
look, we're going to come full circle at the end of this podcast.
My Hero Academia lost that chance, I think, 50 chapters ago. So yes, season 6, I don't really know what else to say other than, like, it's... You know,
it's like the war arc, right?
It's the war arc. It's the big, like, the villains who have largely operated in the shadows up till now are mask off in the streets. So now it is an open war between the heroes and the villains. It's, again, to echo Bleach, it's kind of the problem that Horikoshi ran into of, like, new arc, new characters. Here's a dozen new characters that... you'll care about to varying degrees, and sometimes it works, but most of the times it really doesn't. Like, I might as well not even front. Like, I'm not even going to, like, try to pretend that this is, like, for narrative reasons or that there's, like, some heady, like, thesis I have here. The only thing I'm looking forward to about Season 6 is the introduction of the internet's favorite side character in My Hero Academia, which is Mirko, who is, if you've seen, depending on who you follow on Twitter, you've probably seen her. She is the buff brown bunny lady.
Wasn't she already in the show at some point?
Briefly.
cameo.
Okay,
she
but
shows up.
You might also be getting mixed up with the other buddy ladies who showed up.
No, I know exactly who G is talking about.
This is the arc where Mirko gets her
Yes.
moment, and
Okay.
it was maybe the last time. Like, I'm not even like, okay, look, she's really hot, but also a lot of fans generally agree her fight is maybe kind of the last time My Hero Academia was like kind of interesting and fun and good, because it was willing to give a total like B-lister, C-lister member of the cast like a really cool fight scene.
Because she was like, she's in like top 10 heroes in Japan or whatever, and so I think
Yes,
so
she is.
when she like, and they sell it because she's just tearing through that lab.
Right, because like the thing is, often when you do this thing, right, of here's the top 10 heroes and this one's the girl hero, it's like, okay, when does she get horribly brutalized to show the stakes? And here's the great part, she does get horribly brutalized in this fight, but she wins, and that's badass as hell.
I mean, has the show continued to at least look right? I mean, I'd assume so, considering it's a Bones
It is
production.
Bones,
Sometimes.
but sometimes is the answer, because unfortunately, ever since they
They've
started
become a bit
doing
more selective. Right?
well, ever since they started doing the movies is actually the main issue.
Right.
Is that seasons 1 and 2 look great because they were kind of receiving the full brunt of Bones' attention.
Right.
But after
and then they,
season
like,
2,
made
they-
the full internal studio dedicated to My Hero Academia.
right, they started moving more and more staff over to the movies, the standalone movies, which as a result,
Right.
those movies look very good, but you can tell that the TV series has suffered as a result ever since.
There's still like the handful of moments where they bring out
Utapon shows up
Utapon.
like once a season, basically.
Bones' ace, who's
Yes.
been there since day one.
But so yeah, I don't know. It's that thing of like, at this point, we're maybe it's a little like Bleach.
It's part of the furniture.
Yeah,
right?
we're just
Like,
watching
yeah.
it because it's there more than anything else. I mean, I'll look
Yeah.
forward to that Mirko fight. I'm in a weird place because maybe I'll wait till more chapters of the manga come out, but I don't know if Horikoshi could have necessarily have predicted or planned this, but it's going to be very funny if this is the season of the anime in which a very like fan beloved character gets her moment at the same time she is being brutally murdered in the manga,
oh boy.
which is currently what is happening.
Kinda, yeah.
Like and not only is she being brutally murdered in the manga, she's being brutally murdered in the manga to save Bakugo's life, which really pours salt in the wound.
Yeah.
Like, the manga fan base is kind of in a really salty place right now.
But I thought they loved Bakugo.
Yeah, I got to cut this conversation off.
Yeah,
at
let's
Bakugo.
move on.
But we'll
Let's talk about the thing in this power hour that we have only good things to say about.
yeah. So I don't know if we really need to even say too much about Spy Family because we just aired a season. They basically took a season off, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yes.
That's still fresh in our memory at this point.
This
I'm
kind of just feels like this isn't a premiere. This is just them picking up the thread, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like it's just they took a break for a season. And
Yeah,
now they're
I mean,
back, right? It's
in a
not
lot
like
of ways,
yeah.
there's actually not much to say about it because, look, it's Spy Family.
Family.
It's going to continue the lovable hijinks that you liked in the first half.
Yes.
I would say maybe...
guess my-
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I guess my big question will be like, will this be enough time for them to actually get to a story per se, or like, will the plot move forward, or is it? And again, I use just very selectively here. Will it just be more hijinks, which I'm fine with, but
I think
obviously,
they will.
To the latter, right?
Yes, but I do think they will. This part of the anime that they're going to cover next will coincide with some slightly bigger arcs, I guess. Like they're starting to interact with a grander meta plot around this part of Spy Family. But again, it's very much on the border. I would say it would take a hypothetical Spy Family season 2 before we get introduced to like the big picture plot stuff.
Right.
Unless the introduction of a dog is big picture plot stuff, then in that case,
that's pretty important.
yeah. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So Go ahead, G.
Oh, yeah, all I was going to say about Spy Families, I guess, is like in a season with so many big names, I would say if you want to like make the safe bet this season,
Right.
it's probably this one. Like
This is the
I would also
warm, comfortable blanket.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
can wrap yourself in at any time, right?
I would also say that my perception, at least, is that this is one of the anime that has like broken out of the bubble and has become a big deal to people who are not necessarily super dedicated anime fans. You know, like
Right.
it is still very much a nerd culture thing, but I would say that there is
It has very
widespread
wide-
Your Forgers is a mainstream breakout waifu.
yes,
And,
there's
yeah.
a lot of art of her on the internet.
uh-huh.
And I do think that Spy Family still, even up against some of the heavy hitters that we're going to talk about, I still think this might be the show that has the biggest public appeal. You know, that will get
It's
the
a very
biggest streaming
broad-
numbers and stuff.
It's a very broad appeal type of show.
Yes, yes.
I
If
could
we-
show this to my mother.
Yes, I think
Right.
there's
My
only
my 70-plus-year-old
yes,
mother. Like,
yes. I think there's only a couple shows on this list that will maybe come close in terms of the numbers game. Anyway, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know what I wouldn't show to my mother? Somehow through
Hell
against
yeah!
all odds.
Yup.
So I'm not sure how to feel about this because I didn't particularly like Pop Team Epic Season 1, but I am deeply invested in the time traveling Shota Aoi plot, which was continued in Gal and Dinosaur.
yes.
So
Zig,
I need
you
to
are
watch this.
you are motherfucker.
yes, I need to watch this to see if the saga of time traveling Shota Aoi continues.
I would be shocked if it doesn't.
But I mean,
Yeah,
I'm kind of down for this. Honestly, it's been long. Like, because here's the thing, I totally agree that like I actually really liked the first season of Pop Team Epic, but it's the kind of
think
thing
that
of
if
like.
if I can just interrupt for a second, G, I think that I am perhaps in a place where I am more positioned to appreciate absurdist comedy than I was a couple of years ago.
Sure,
if
sure,
that
but
makes sense.
what I was getting at more is like I had, one core of that show is I think plenty for most people's palates, and I think it's like it's been a while, but also I think that might work in its favor of it's been long enough that I could go, yeah, okay, I'll watch another like 12 episodes of animated shit posting. Why not?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I think with the anime in particular, I almost just appreciate it as like a. I don't want to say a work of art, but the like
How do we take this shitposting Yonkoma and like
the way they would use different media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was
The
a
effort
very
they
interesting.
go to kind of like keep the joke going.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting audio-visual experience, just from like
Mhm.
artistically speaking.
Wasn't there
Um,
one half of an episode that was entirely in French or something?
there
Well,
was
they
a
would- they
repeated
would do-
segment with a French animator.
Right, yes.
Yeah, and they had
Yeah.
the gimmick of like the episode would air twice, and it
Yeah.
would have
Yes.
different
Yeah, no, I
voice
do remember
actors
that.
the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was
Including some shockingly inappropriate ones like Akiba Maid
Naoya Wakamoto,
It's pretty
yeah.
good.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so did I enjoy Pop Team Epic Season 1? I don't know, but it was interesting to watch, and I'll watch. I like you said, G, I think that I've had enough time to reset my brain.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And, yeah, sure, why not? Give us some
I am
more.
hoping for a Dino cameo.
Surely.
Sure, why
surely,
not?
You're right. Surely
Yeah.
that will be there.
Somewhere. Like live action segment, right? Like get the guy in the suit.
Why not
yeah.
both? You know,
They paid enough for that suit. They got
Exactly.
bring him back.
It's on a box somewhere.
All right. So next on our list, I'm kind of surprised Golden Kamuy is getting a season 4.
Yeah, so I mean, actually, so here's the thing. First of all, behind the curtain, I didn't put this on the list. In fact, I was surprised to see this on the list. But
I just stuck it on there because it's Golden Kamuy.
well, thank you,
Yes.
Jel, for giving me yet another opportunity to talk about Golden
The Golden
Kamuy.
Kamuy. By all
Oh.
accounts, the anime has pulled it back together.
But yes, in all
Like,
seriousness,
I mean,
the-
I guess I said I'm surprised, but also I think the anime actually was pretty popular.
It's fairly popular. My understanding is that, I think we've said this a few times now, but ever since the story, shifted from fighting people instead of animals. The production
Shifted to fighting people, you mean?
Yes, shifted to. Yes, my bad. It's kind of pulled it together. Yes. My understanding is that these days my understanding is that from season 3 onward, Golden Kamuy is a competent adaptation. It is not a nightmare anymore. It is not a biscuit hammer travesty. It is merely adequate at its job. Which, hey, that's considering where that anime started. Yeah. But yeah,
and also, remember, its job is primarily to drive interest in the manga.
I guess, yes, that is.
And the manga's done now. So.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, is it done?
The manga finished earlier this year. Hell of a finale.
Great ending.
Great ending, yes. The rare manga with a great ending.
How far off is the anime from getting to the end?
If I were to make estimations, I think this will probably be the penultimate season. Okay. I think they probably have one more season of anime ahead of them, but season 4 of Golden Kamuy, based on the PVs I've watched, is kind of the it is the JRPG equivalent of the penultimate chapter, where you now finish up all the remaining side quests before you go to the final dungeon. It's mostly focused on collecting the few remaining skins that are out there, and sort of building up to the final confrontation between the various factions. On a more
sorry.
No, go ahead. Yes,
because there's enough skins have been collected that people who have half of them or 60% of them can look at what they have and start to piece together.
Yes.
What they might be pointing
location,
at. Right. And so, the circle that contains every faction is getting smaller and smaller.
Yes, that's a very good way of describing it.
Well done. It's a way the kids will understand.
Yes. I mean, but it does make sense, right? It's because at the start of the anime or the manga, it is the entire Hokkaido region, and now it is constrained to 2 towns and a forest, filled with all these goofy psychopaths, and it makes for a very good pressure cooker sort of situation. Characters are running into each other more often. The confrontations are getting increasingly absurd and violent. On a character storytelling level, multiple characters are reaching a moment of reckoning will reach a moment of reckoning in this season. A crossroads, so to speak, where allegiances will need to be finalized for the final confrontation. And I don't know, it's Golden Kamuy, so hey, read the manga, but apparently the anime's okay too, so
there you go. Redemption story here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go on to our next item. We have the return of Mob Psycho 100.
Yes.
Season 3. Now, I really liked season 2 a lot, probably more than season 1.
I think I would probably agree. Yeah.
It's
Go on. Sorry.
Got somewhere in season 2, even though it still kind of ends status quo-ish, right? But I feel like the characters, especially Mob, went somewhere in season 2 in a way that you don't often see in these types of long-running series,
and don't forget about all the character development that second place Tumblr sexy man Arataka Reagan in season 2.
I'm not a Reagan fan, but
okay.
Anyway,
well, you could say that statement out of context, and most people will agree with you, but
yeah.
So
I guess I have I have no idea what's going to happen in season 3. I haven't been kind of intentionally avoided anything on it, and
my main understanding based on sort of some of the interviews that they've done is that season 3 will admittedly be caught in a bit of an interesting place, because The manga ended in 2017, and my understanding is that there weren't that many more chapters left to adapt by the end of season 2.
Okay.
And so Bones has gotten out there and said that they're going to expand on some of the storylines they're covering, and that they will
They've
also
explicitly said that this will be the last season.
Yes,
This is it.
Yeah, because they'll be out of material, right?
completely out of material at this point. Yes, but
yeah, which that and just like I was kind of so satisfied where season 2 went that like I'm always wary of like, oh god, are they going to drag this out?
Yeah,
more than it needs to be dragged out.
I'm trying to treat season 3 as a victory lap because I also agree that I think season 2 ends so strongly that I would agree. I also don't think that you really need. And it feels like even Bones agrees that like season 2 was a good stopping point, but hey,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I
these
mean,
characters,
I guess
right?
in some ways, knowing that like at least this is the definitive end helps a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But also hearing that they may have to stretch some things out is so there's some concerns, I think.
Right.
But season 2 kind of built a lot of goodwill up for me personally, where I'm not going to be all gloom and doom about it. Just we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Mob Psycho, so like,
Right.
We know we're gonna get some sick animation, and Mob is always a good boy regardless of everything else, and that might be all you need.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to it. You know what I'm not looking forward to?
Oh, this one.
Oh my.
Another returning show, To Your Eternity Season 2.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm conflicted on this one.
A bit of a refresher. I feel like those of us that did not read the manga kind of hated the back half of season 1.
Hate is a strong word, but it was not great.
I don't think it was adapted
ranging
very well.
from not like to hate. It's
Sure.
generally not
I mean,
positive.
as Iro alluded to, Crime Island was also sort of failed by the adaptation as well, but
yeah,
I will agree that in general, I mean, the anime in general is sort of failed by its production, right? This is sort of the thing we got into at the time, is that you can have this fantastic story and these interesting characters and these really cool moments, but when your show is like clearly falling apart at the seams, it's just kind of hard to stay invested.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with the exception of the very strong final episode that did a very good,
Yes, which was excellent.
I don't really have a whole lot of
so
motivation to watch this at this point.
And the thing is that I gotta be honest, like, even if the production was good, like, season 2 is going to be kind of weird because, Iro, if you remember this part of the manga, like, the story is kind of going in a weird place.
Yeah,
and
I think I was reading this part of the manga. I remember I was really enjoying it until like halfway, and then I was like, I'm not enjoying this
right. It's like,
anymore.
Well, for me, I think the thing is that so there's a very big moment that's going to happen at the start of this season that Iro and I thought would have capstoned season 1, and that moment is honestly going to fall flat because it's been too long. Like, this is the problem. There's been a 6-month gap between when you saw the foreshadowing for a moment we're talking about and actually getting there, and that kind of sucks because I think what Iro was getting at that I'm going to get at too is there's going to be a really fucking big-ass moment at the start of Season 2 that is going to, if done well, leave you with so much goodwill, so much lingering goodwill, that it sort of papers over the problems that happen in the next arc. But because of how they've handled the pacing and production, I don't know if they can stick the landing here.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. I believe they did change studios.
Yes, there's a new studio and a new director, but
yes,
yeah.
But that then
ironically,
that raises another problem, which is will they be able to maintain continuity with the previous visual style and previous
do we want them to maintain? Because I mean,
that show looked fine for the first half.
The second half looked rough though.
Yes, absolutely. But
ironically, I just realized the first season was Brains Base, and they're actually doing Golden Kamuy season 4 now.
Oh, are they?
That's interesting.
It's not not Studio Gino anymore. Oh, okay.
Nope. Huh. That's interesting.
I don't know if that's a trade up or not. I'm actually not sure.
It's always weird to me when long running series hop studios like that.
It's probably like scheduling thing, right? Like
yeah.
That's probably how that works out.
No, it's because Gino Studios all hands on deck for Pluto, right?
Oh God, right.
Was that Gino Studio, or am I getting mixed up?
I'm not sure actually.
That was Studio M2.
I don't know what Gino's working on.
Happening, yeah, that thing doesn't exist.
So yeah, that's so I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I guess we'll see as far as changing it up, because I would say the directing and production values were part of the problem of the second half.
Yes,
and
agreed.
I don't want to say any change is good, but at least there's a chance that maybe that improves. But I don't know. I also just like, for me personally, even just like thematically where the story was going and everything, I was not really a fan. So
I mean, there's also the fact that we are just coming off a season of Made in Abyss, and I'm not entirely sure that I have the
that's true,
mental fortitude to go straight into another sad boy show. So
with everything you know and love dying. I'm kind of on the fence of whether I'm actually going to watch it or not. I guess we'll see where I'm at when the time comes here, what other things I'm watching and everything. But I mean, it still makes me a little sad, because I feel like I can see
it is a shame what happened to this anime.
I can see the core, like a good core there, and it just wasn't happening for me.
Well, speaking of a show that fell apart in its second half in a disastrous way.
Yeah, so
it's second quarter technically.
Oh jeez.
New block of Tiger and Bunny Part 2 coming out. This is another one that just happened, just a season ago, so it's still fresh in our memory of how bad that final half was.
Oh, Jill, the first 6 episodes of Tiger Bunny Part 2 were so good, and then
they were good, and then if you recall, we ended with the
then the plot happened.
Criminal guy,
yep,
breaking out of jail. He'll probably be the new bad guy, and it's gonna be. I think the best we can hope for is the first couple episodes we go back to
slice of life,
workplace comedy. Yeah.
I think that is. I agree with you, Jill. I think our only hope for Part 2 is that we get another 4 to 5 episodes of Tiger and Bunny married couple hijinks, and that'll be good and fun, and we'll all have a good laugh at. Oh, did you see that joke where Tiger did the thing? And then the second half will happen where the plot kicks in, and we'll go, oh, right, yes, this is why.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I didn't catch when. I'm assuming it's going to be, since Netflix, I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing where they drop
probably
all the episodes at once or whatever. So, we'll probably, I'm sure we'll pace it out again the same way last time.
That's always the plan, because I don't like the binge model.
Yeah, and I don't have time to sit and watch 12 episodes of anime in one sitting anymore these days. So we'll see. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think we're committed now, G. So
I think we are, yes.
Under the Kyokai Senki precedent.
Yes.
Oh God. Yes, once you've hit the halfway point, you're definitely committed. So, we'll see how it goes.
Well, speaking of Sunrise mecha anime.
All right. Well, I listed these as sort of returning because they're kind of returning, but not directly
Yeah.
related to things. So new Mobile Suit Gundam drops.
Yep.
I think they already didn't they prologue episodes?
A prologue, a sort of standalone prologue, an episode 0.
Episode 0.
So this is Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury.
Yes.
And this is the first sort of core Gundam TV series in what?
Since
8
Iron-Blooded
years?
Orphans.
Since Iron-Blooded Orphans, yes.
Yeah, which is
I
8
think
years?
2015, 2016?
Something like
Okay,
that.
so still about 6 years.
It has been a
That was
little
after.
bit, though, yes.
That was after G-Reco, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Orphans.
G-Reco
Okay.
2013.
Yeah, it sure was, Chief. Holy moly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes, Gundam, as you know, the Titan franchise that it is back with
More
a
popular
new.
than ever.
Yes, yes. As funny as it is to say, yes, Gundam more popular than it has ever been in the West since maybe the days of Toonami. But yeah, so this is the new Gundam. That is for people who are unacquainted. This is an AU setting, alternate universe. This is not the UC setting. This is not part of the mainline Gundam. This is a standalone. Yes, a standalone story taking place.
And just to clarify, most Gundam works these days are AUs. They don't go back to the Universal Century setting too often.
Not that often, other
Their
than
movies have been UC stuff.
yes,
Well,
UC
right,
has sort of
but I
become
mean-
the realm of like prestige media these days, for better or worse.
But what I'm saying is
Yes.
that it's not unusual for this to be like.
Oh, no,
this is
definitely
not like
not.
a bold
Oh,
new
right, no.
beginning.
Yeah,
like
no.
Of course
stuff.
not. They've been
Like,
doing
I mean,
that since the 90s.
Yes.
They do AUs all the time.
Yes. But, so this one is known as the Ad Stella setting, and basically the sort of basic premise we have gotten for this version of the classic Gundam story is that Gund Tech, which is G-U-N-D, Gund Tech is the sort of umbrella term for transhumanist technology that has been pioneered in the setting to allow mankind to viably exist in space.
Yes.
And our protagonist is, we might as well just get this out of the way because this is probably the thing that people are talking about, is that this is functionally the first TV Gundam anime to star a female protagonist. Her name is, Suletta or Eri, depending. We're still not quite sure which name they're going to settle on for the TV anime.
She changed her name to avoid being hunted down by the prosthetic
The bad guys.
So we'll use Suletta now just to keep it consistent. Is a girl from Mercury who transfers to basically Gundam school. It's a school for like training in piloting mobile suits. In a world where, stop me if you've heard this before, the majority of mobile suit technology is monopolized by a single mega corporation.
Weird that.
And the thing about this one is that, like, in a lot of ways, I think the prologue was a fairly uniquely clever move by Sunrise, because I'm going to be honest, prior to the prologue, I'd say that my interest in this was my usual baseline interest in a Gundam, which is I will watch this because I'm sick and broken, but not necessarily because I'm like...
You'll watch it in accordance with the Kyokai Senki precedent.
Yes, essentially.
Yes.
But
And also, there is just not much mecha anime these days.
Right. But the
so you've
prologue-
got to take what you get.
yeah, the prologue, I have to give credit where it's due. The episode 0 prologue is pretty interesting.
I enjoyed
in-
it a lot. I thought much more than I thought I was.
Yeah,
going to.
like there's I won't spoil it because hey, I think that if you're gonna watch this show, you should probably watch this prologue. But it's really it introduces some interesting stuff, and that is always the thing with Gundam, is that even when Gundam misses, and let me tell you, Gundam misses a lot, but the best Gundams are the ones where even when it misses, it's interesting, and I think that The Witch from Mercury prologue introduces a lot of kind of cool, neat sci-fi concepts and storytelling beats that I really do hope are continue to be evoked and interrogated in the main TV series. There's a lot of stuff about transhumanism and sort of the rhetoric of how warfare is sold to the masses, and there's even an element of, like, I don't know, a pseudo-drone warfare subplot with, like, how easy it is to kill with a Gundam in this setting. To the point where a child could do it.
Right.
And yeah, I guess, and then I think the other interesting half of this is the staff attached to this Gundam. It's a very, shall we say, notable motley crew of people. Probably the one that's figuring foremost in everybody's mind is the script is being handled by one Ichiru Okochi, who has written everything from Code Geass to Devilman Crybaby to Valvrave to Lupin Part 5 to Skate the Infinity.
Right, to Berserk, the Berserk movies.
soaring the highs, plumbing the lows, and everything in between.
The other interesting detail about Okochi is that he is on record for having said that Gundam Victory is his favorite entry in the franchise.
Oh, really?
Yes, the Gundam that is deliberately bad by its own director's admission.
So you have this guy, a guy who is all peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
The director.
So this is either going to be really good or a disaster.
Yes, but I think either way, it will be interesting to watch.
Right.
On directing, we have Hiroshi Kobayashi, who's not as well known. His main two directing roles are, Dragon Pilot and Kisniver. So make of that what you will.
The problem with Kisniver was not its direction.
Sure.
So the problem with Dragon Pilot was not the direction either.
Okay, so maybe it'll be fine. But look, you're gonna have to indulge me and let me be on my bullshit for a little bit, because I think the most, for me, anyways, interesting part about The Witch from Mercury is some of the artists they have brought on for it.
Right.
For the mecha design, we have the sort of usual triple threat of Ebikawa, Gyobu, and Kenji Taraoka, who are all Sunrise veterans who have worked on basically every modern Gundam for the last 10, 15 years. I'd say
any well-known hands.
Yeah. But they've brought on two interesting names that I think are interesting because neither of them come from an anime background. They're both former games industry people. They are J.N. Thed and Wataru Inada. J.N. Thed is, I guess I don't want to call him an indie artist, but he is an independent mecha artist who's probably most mainstream work is that he did all the mechanical designs for the portable Metal Gear games. So Acid, Portable Ops, and Peace Walker. Right. And he was the primary artist on those. I would describe his style...
Those AI pods?
Yes, yes. So I would describe his style as a more structurally sound Yoji Shinkawa. He's more detail-oriented. He doesn't quite... What he lacks in style, he makes up in mechanical detail.
Right.
And then Wataru Inada, who is an Armored Core veteran. So it's that sort of thing of at least for me, and look, so to an outside observer, it's okay, so they hire two mecha artists. It's yes. But they hire two mecha artists whose styles look nothing like standard Gundam. And in the same way that when Gyobu was hired for G-Reco and Iron-Blooded Orphans and brought a really interesting aesthetic to the Gundam, I really want to see what these two will bring to Gundam, which is
we've already seen some of it.
Some of them, right? Yeah.
And it's impressively different.
And that's kind of always what excites me as someone who will, I'll buy the toys.
Yeah, but I mean, the suits this time seem to be way more exoskeletal / kind of. There's a lot more visible pistoning and all that kind of stuff, and they look a little bit more self-consciously futuristic, which I'm fine with, to be honest. Actually, I think that it's an interesting new style for Gundam, which has always been very much associated with the very traditional blocky man in a suit style robots.
So I guess this is all to say, does this mean that this will be good? I have no clue. I have
absolutely
no idea.
Only time will tell.
The thing I will say is that what encouraged me in that prologue was that they are clearly putting the big ideas, like G said, about politics, transhumanism, and stuff. All of that stuff is going straight up front, And Gundam, not always the subtlest series.
No, certainly not.
But But by putting that stuff front and center, they are showing like, yes, we are aware there are these dimensions to the story, and we're going to investigate them. We might investigate them with a scalpel, we might investigate them with a sledgehammer, but we are at least going to tell a story about these things, and that to me is an encouraging sign.
And like, because because most of Gundam has been big budget movies and stuff for the past several years, like their animation pipeline for mechs looks really good.
Yeah. That prologue is
Stuff
maybe
looks nice.
Yeah, it's that prologue is maybe some of the nicest like 2D mecha animation I've seen in a hot minute. So
yeah. So here's hoping. I mean,
I guess we'll have to. I mean, how many anime have we watched that start with a good concept and then fail to?
I mean, I will point out that Iron Blooded Orphans on
Same
paper
thing.
Yeah.
was literally everything I could have ever wanted from a Gundam, and
Right,
it still completely shat the bed.
Yeah, it's very difficult to say with such a long running series like this, you know, which has spanned the entire spectrum from wow, cool robot to war is bad. You know, it could land anywhere and be anything on that. But you know, all we can say is that signs are encouraging, and we want to watch it, which is a good place to start, at least.
All right. Well, one more, I guess, old series I wanted to mention was coming back. We're getting a remake of Urusei Yatsura.
The OG magical girlfriend.
Yeah,
a foundational magical girlfriend work.
I mean, a foundational
big hit for,
anime for Rumiko Takahashi.
Yes,
yes,
big
that
hit
too.
for Rumiko
Okay,
Takahashi.
so that is Rumiko Takahashi.
Yes.
All right.
This was her breakout.
Right. I was thinking to myself, like, is that Rumiko Takahashi? But
Yeah.
yes.
She's had a lot of
Has
hits.
any single manga like made more hits?
I would argue she, like, regardless of your preference for her works, she may have the highest batting average of any mangaka.
I mean, you got
working.
This was her first one, which, like we said, is like a foundational romantic comedy magical
you have
girlfriend
Urusei
work.
Yatsura, you've got Maizoni Koku, you've got Ranma Half, you've got Inuyasha, right?
Yeah,
Like,
She shoots to
I mean,
kill.
like a couple other ones in there.
Most mangaka do not manage 4 complete series in their entire career,
Right.
let alone 4 mega hits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know.
So, but yeah, I've never actually watched the original, but I think anybody, regardless of whether you recognize the name or not, you're going to recognize Lum. She's like one of the most famous anime characters of all time.
yeah.
I like. So this is actually being done by, I think it's David Production.
Yeah, it's David
Yes.
Kuroya.
There, who is possibly the go-to anime or studio for doing your 80s
Old anime.
But yeah, I appreciate the trailer. Looks like they are keeping it's very stylish. It looks it's the same look and everything.
I'm wondering if it'll be as like crass.
Pervy.
Yeah, because you gotta remember is that, like, a lot of her older works, like that in Rama 1/2.
Right, because
Yeah.
the dude in Urusei Yatsura is like, I've got a boner and I want to fuck you, right? Like,
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I kind of want to comment on this because I feel like, perhaps less so in Japan, but in the West especially, I feel like the public image of Urusei Yatsura has been heavily tilted by, like, its most famous work, which is Mamoru Oshii's Beautiful Dreamer movie, which is a terrific movie, but it's really not like most of Urusei Yatsura.
Just
like,
seems like. I feel like
How
you
is
just
that going to
connect
hold up in
anything
20?
Oshii does is like when he does something for a different series, right? It's like,
yeah,
wow, Oshii's movie or OVA or for that was really great, and it's nothing like the rest.
Yeah,
Nothing like the
this
original
is,
work.
like, yeah, like Beautiful Dreamer is the work which started off that trend, you know. But like that movie is like very like surreal, like dreamy, as the name suggests, very thoughtful, and like mainline Urusei Yatsura is like mostly a gag comedy with a bunch of dick jokes and like polyamory jokes and stuff like that.
I mean, so I guess that's the thing that's going to be interesting about this, right? Is like, is this a remake,
Is that gonna
a
hold
straight
up?
adaptation? Like, are they going to like, are they going to write new material? I guess is the question, right? Like, and
I think
I mean,
only
I'm pretty sure it's a remake. Like they're retelling the story. I don't know how much creative freedom they're going to take on
the
it.
setting to the modern day, right? Like,
Yeah,
one assumes.
yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I
would
know.
expect a new adaptation with like the proper amount of tweaking to make it relevant in 2022. But I don't think anybody's expecting them to reinvent the wheel in any way.
All right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably check that out, as I do like dumb comedies. So,
do you think that Rumiko Takahashi, like, because we were talking about like horny protagonists and stuff, like, do you think she would get along with Tomino?
I don't know.
I'm not sure
I don't know how
anybody
many
gets
people-
along with
yeah,
Tomino.
All right.
Like,
I mean, I just
don't
always
know.
think back to that evergreen quote from Tomino about what's his name's
About
movies,
Shinkai, yeah.
about Makoto Shinkai's movies.
yeah, I feel like Tomino would respect her work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But however, I would pay extremely good money to see a Gundam series written by Rumiko Takahashi. Like, I would watch the hell out of that.
that would be
Just saying.
interesting.
Sunrise, get on it.
They already got Mario Kata. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's there's a lot more returning shows. Obviously, we're not gonna
Yes,
talk
there
about
are
all of
so
them.
many.
there's so many shows.
I don't know why Uzaki-chan wants to hang out is coming back, but
Because she
things-
really wants to hang out.
or Muzzle of
Because
Alternative
like,
season 2.
a certain level of pervert cottoned onto that show, and they bought enough merch to make a second season inevitable.
how-
Nothing more than that.
How did Encouragement of Climb get 4 seasons? Anyway,
Because it costs nothing to make.
probably. Anyway, so lots of other shows returning, but those are the ones
It's a packed season.
we'll probably
meaty.
watch. And let's move on to new stuff. So
Yeah.
I saw you guys stuck Kamen Rider, the new Kamen Rider on
Yeah.
your
Hold
technically
on
not
a
already,
goddamn second.
What?
But
How the fuck is Kamen Rider not also in the sort of returning?
It's
Yeah.
between.
Admittedly.
It's the tail end of that. So we're
yeah,
good.
okay, we're transferring.
It
this.
is,
So
it
that-
is
that's
rewind
kind
the-
the-
of returning and kind of a new show.
It's a new
Rewind the
series,
tape.
that's already out though, right?
First
That you've
episode's
already
out.
written
Second
about
episode
it.
are today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the
So-
gimmick about this one?
Kamen Rider Geats.
So, what if 100 Kamen Riders dropped onto an island and no, really is like the gimmick is. It's a
Are you
battle
for
royale.
real?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
But this
yes.
is not even the first Tokusatsu battle royale. Garo already did this, so like.
Oh well, if Garo
How
did
long-
it then.
How long before Kamen Rider is in Fortnite?
Not long.
I mean, like, Fortnite is like exclusively a Western culture thing,
I mean,
right?
but also Goku is in it.
Yeah,
so-
but Goku transcends.
Hero,
like-
Goku's on such a another tier beyond Kamen
Yeah.
Rider.
Why?
You
Yeah.
can have Goku shoot Naruto in Fortnite. That's all I know. at
All
this
right.
point.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Kamen Rider Geats.
how is it? Yes.
Yeah. So it seems to be a Kamen Rider battle royale. They're fighting over. They seem to get points when they fight the baddies and stuff, and they're competing in the Desire Grand Prix to become the Desire Deity who gets to remake the world however they choose.
There already
okay.
seems to be some shenanigans going on because the first episode is actually fairly narratively complex for a Kamen Rider show, which, again, it's a show aimed at 8-year-olds to sell toys. Never forget that.
We are grading on a curve.
Yeah. But, like, the show actually opens on the end of the previous Desire Grand Prix and, like, depicts the ending of that. And then the end of the first episode is they're sending out new invites, new power-ups
I
and
mean, that's
stuff
kind of
to
neat
an-
because I mean that's literally how the Battle Royale movie opens.
Right, kind of, yeah. And and what's interesting is that the show also like does a fairly effective job of decoying you about who the protagonist actually is, because like for a lot of the time it follows like a like super white bread nice guy who's
He's trying to get hired at a job, but he's too nice.
Yeah.
He believes in
Yeah.
world peace.
and then like about 2/3 of the way through, it reveals, oh no, actually this super dick is our main character, and that in itself is encouraging because like it's always much more fun when the main characters are huge dicks rather than.
Are you sure this one wasn't secretly written by Urobuchi as well?
Unfortunately, not. No, but yeah. So like they seem to be going for something interesting. Like also, what we see is main character wins the Desire Grand Prix, but he's back again in the next cycle. So there's clearly some like weird time loop shenanigans going on here. So
I think that's also a plot of Battle Royale.
I've not
going to be
like without wishing to spoil Battle Royale. Like part of the plot of Battle Royale is that there is a survivor of a previous game involved,
who willingly enters the game again. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But like. Already, you know, they're dealing with interesting ideas. You know, it seems fun. You know, it was like the belts for a change do not sing the entire chorus of a song before doing anything.
So I'm
the proviso here.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go on, Jay.
Well, you guys are talking about this battle royale like element, and I guess I'm curious, like, so is that. So that's the gimmick of the story. What is the the visual aesthetic gimmick this time? Like,
it's still because it's like game stuff, right? Still,
right?
Kind of.
It's kind of a cross between that and like a slightly more like techie, militaristic feel. Like
get yourself a tactical Kamen Rider.
They're all still anime, or they're still animal themed, but
right, yeah. And I don't know. Like the thing we always say is that it's so difficult to gauge what a show is going to be like from these first episodes because they're super formulaic, right? Like you've got to introduce the characters, you have to you spend a lot of money on some bad CGI to make everyone look cool and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
But the thing I will say, and the thing I said in my first look post, is they at least appear to be going for something. You know, they seem to have an idea and they seem to be executing towards that idea, which is an encouraging sign. The other thing as well is, like Aqua said, when he talked about Revice on the last episode, that like Toei has inevitably drifted towards rider versus rider stuff because it's more economical and sells more toys, and that only really works when the entire premise is rider versus rider, like it is this time. So there is hope that means a more coherent plot with better reasons for everybody to fight each other, basically.
Yeah,
right,
pretty much.
So yeah, but there'll be updates, you know, like you can't tell much from a first episode, but I'm intrigued, you know, I want to see more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Kamen Rider's back?
It never
Let's
left,
not get ahead of
unfortunately.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I mean, back to being good, specifically.
Maybe, but
we'll see. Give it another month or so.
Yeah, even a month might not be enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe I'm treating, like I said in the post, maybe I'm treating Scraps like a feast after Revice, you know, slapped me in the face for a year nonstop. But I mean, I'll take it.
there's at least some hope.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to new anime. I've picked a few shows on here to talk about.
Sure.
Starting with a show that I hope they can come up with a better English title eventually, but for now I'm calling it My Master Has No Tail.
Okay.
Do you guys like Rakugo anime with supernatural elements?
Wait, that's what this is about?
Well, kind of. This is about apparently it is about a Tanuki girl who wants to fit in with humans, but she fails miserably and is caught by another shape shifter lady.
Oh, I love Brand New Animal.
She asks this shapeshifter lady to be her new master to teach her how to blend in with humans, and this lady happens to also be a Rakugo performer.
Okay.
And it's set in the Taisho era, so it's got that early 20th century style.
The Demon Slayer era, you mean?
Yes.
The Soccer Wars era?
The Golden Kamuy era.
Yeah. A lot of
I was repping the Taisho era before it was cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, it's very colorful and it seems a little more light-hearted than anything, but I thought it looked possibly interesting.
Sure.
And I'm going to take whatever I can get, because when I was looking at all the shows that are not returning,
Uh-huh.
everything is an isekai show, which fortunately, at least they're the like fun, lighthearted
Nice,
isekai
happy
shows.
isekai shows.
But they're, I'm a little tired of those. They're fine.
Uh-huh.
I wonder why.
I have no, they're not power fantasy slavery shows at least, but I'm a little tired of those. So and there's really not much to say about them. So I'm digging for anything here. Is just keep that in mind as I go down this list.
Indeed.
So, next on the list is the new PA Works show, DIY.
To be clear, this is not actually it works.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, hold on a second.
It's
It certainly seems to follow that template, at least.
I mean, this is more like a girls' club, right?
No, this one's. I'm sorry, this one's not PA Works. The next one is. This one is Pine Jam.
Yes.
And so Pine Jam, who I thought was dead. I'm pretty sure I read that article.
Reports of my death were greatly exaggerated.
What else did they do?
So they did some very obscure GLORIO favorites, like Just Because and the surprisingly good Gamers, which I will still stand up for. But I'm pretty sure they died. But I guess they're back. And this looks like, I almost more want to just give a shout out to Gamers. Everyone should probably check that out. But if you like,
shout out to all the gamers out there.
So I gotta ask,
if you like dumb romantic comedies like me, but this one is. What were you saying, G?
No, you go first.
Yeah, no. So this one does look more like a traditional but well-made slice of life, cute girls doing cute things type of show.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
But this time, they're doing DIY projects.
Uh-huh.
Play the home improvement theme, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make the Tim Allen noise.
Yeah, but it looks fun, and there are previous shows that I did like.
Also, the trailer for this looked surprisingly amazing.
Yeah, so here's the thing I was going to say, guys, is like, okay.
That's the thing about this.
Let's all be real with ourselves. If this had aired in any other season, would this have been the, like, Super Cub, unexpected super hit?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's what I'm hoping
just
for.
Judging from how the visuals...
That's what I'm hoping for. So
also, like,
and
because it's DIY themed, all these girls are kind of like tomboy adjacent. So, like, there's a part of me that's like, well, it's a really busy season, but maybe I should clear out my schedule a little bit for this one.
No, but in their previous works, like, they were very like well directed and handled like subtleties and relationships and things very well, and just like. And they were also very well animated to start and then kind of fall apart later.
Well.
I'm a little concerned about. But especially since, again, I thought they were dead. But we'll see. I am hoping for that, as you mentioned, G, that Super Cub style surprise chill show to add into the mix here. So hopefully that's what we get.
Yeah.
Okay. So I jumped the gun. This is the PA Work show. They're doing Akiba Maid War,
is
great.
Which
that's a title you can trust.
Yeah,
this is about a girl who really wants to be a maid in Akihabara.
Okay,
and
let's stop for a moment.
I guess
that kind of person. That kind of person doesn't exist, right?
Apparently, she teams up with a former maid who comes out of retirement in some capacity, and I'm pretty sure this is just going to be another PA Works working women show. But
wait, so this is actually one
maids.
So this is original then?
I believe so.
It is an original.
Okay, because I saw PA Works, but then I saw like the title, and I was like, oh, is PA Works doing another like to pay the bills adaptation or something? But
no, I think this is So it's interesting. In the trailer, they show like the girls doing their job and acting all cute maids and everything, and then like in between them working, they just like blur and censor everything out. Like there's censor beeps and everything. Like who knows what horrible things they're saying or whatever. So
I mean, in this key art, somebody's holding a gun.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of like info out. I don't know if there will be an actual war, maybe, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
An adult-oriented made-work anime.
Yeah, I mean, we always check out the PA Work shows, and if this ends up being another working women thing, then, you know, so be it. All right, so let's move on to Legend of Mana. Yes, the 1999 PS1 game.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, who's
For
making
some reason,
a Legend of Mana anime in 2022?
For some reason, of all the Seiken Densetsu games, they've decided to make this one.
I don't even remember this game having that much of a story. Like,
I mean, all of them are a bit story-light, to be
yeah,
fair,
I mean, it's
right?
not the raison d'etre of the Seiken Densetsu series.
But for some reason, they are making an anime of this one. Yeah, I barely remember the game. I don't even know if I played it.
I only remember
I've never
it
played.
had a weird, like, not quite city builder, but you totally had to place thing. You were totally making the world map as you went on, and trying to like.
Okay. And it did still have the like.
Did the Enix side of Square Enix see like the Square side re-releasing Chrono Cross and go, aha, now is our time to strike or something? Like,
yeah, I think there was some kind of like anniversary tie-in
thing.
or something.
sure.
I just don't know why, like, because like all the. Well, I guess it's hard for me to say because at least from the Western perspective, the big one is Secret of Mana, which is Seiken Densetsu 2, right?
Yes. This is what, 4?
And this is 4.
Yeah.
I feel like 3 is usually like the most critically acclaimed one, right?
Well, I think part of that is also because we didn't get it in the West,
Yeah.
and so it sort of acquired a forbidden
I'm
fruit
reading
thing.
that apparently this is because somebody at Warner Brothers Japan really, really liked Legend of Mana and, like, contacted the Mana series producer at Square saying we gotta do something.
All
See,
right,
that's
one
at
of those
least a
situations.
motivation. That's at least a motivation I can respect. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but
Well-
yeah, it seems completely bizarre.
Yeah, so apparently the remaster for Legend of Mana was made because this anime began production.
That's wild. So you get somebody high enough up that likes the game, and all this happens.
I guess so.
But yeah, I watched the trailer, and you know, I think they do a good job capturing the look of the game, or the art of the art, I guess more so than the game. Although the trailer doesn't have a lot of animation in it,
Right.
like kind of uncomfortably so. So I don't know if it's actually going to be any good. I just feel like it's a
Game
weird
animes
curiosity.
are generally not terribly good.
Yeah. So,
Right?
I'm debating, would I even want like a Secret of Mana adaptation or
No.
something? Like, yeah, like I don't feel like any of these games would translate well to like anime. But
Yeah, it's,
You know,
I don't know, man.
make
It's
a-
just
make a-
so bizarre, right?
make a Final Fantasy adventure anime.
God, don't even. That fucking game.
Fuck that. Street Fighter 2010 anime.
I played that game as a child, and I got permanently stuck because of Eggbug, and...
Yeah.
And so this
I was
led to your
upset.
lifelong hatred for all Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, that was back when anything from SquareSoft, when it came to America, they put Final Fantasy on it, right?
Yep. I mean,
Unless
I think
it was Final Fantasy 2 or 3 or 5.
it still said Final Fantasy on it.
Shout out to
I
Final Fantasy
believe
Legends.
I believe the original game is Seiken Densetsu Final Fantasy Gaiden. So
Oh, like the first one,
yeah, which is Final Fantasy Adventure on the Game Boy.
right? Which is Final Fantasy, right? Okay, I didn't know that actually. That's interesting. But yeah, shout out to Final Fantasy Legend, which I think was a Saga game.
Yeah, I believe that is a
Game
Saga
Boy.
game. Yeah.
But I actually enjoyed that. The only Saga game I enjoyed. Anyway, this anime probably isn't going to be good, but it was a fun, interesting curiosity I thought to mention.
Yeah, extremely bizarre thing to happen.
Yeah. Let's talk about Eternal Boys.
I don't know anything. Well, I don't know what this is.
I'm
I
not
had to
even
bring
sure
this
why
up.
this is on the list.
Yeah, I have
So
no idea.
So this is an idol show where
Oh god, this. Okay.
idol company is going bankrupt and they need some kind of gimmick to save themselves.
Oh,
And
right. Yes. No, I did see this.
the gimmick is they bring in 6 middle-aged men to form an idol group, which I looked up. I think they're all at least 35 years old, so they are actually older characters.
Sure. They just still, because it's anime, they still look 20.
Yeah, of course they still
they're
look
still all
20,
impossibly Bishonen.
yeah.
Like,
I don't know if that's gonna make much of a difference. It did mention in the description that they have to overcome the many hurdles of age and physical ability. And I'm like, are they gonna all have like bad backs or something while they're trying to do the dance
I've got a bad
moves
back.
yeah, so it's an amusing concept.
Sure.
I kind of wish they did, like you mentioned. I kind of wish they did like actually make them look older and not like they are still, generically handsome.
Yeah.
20.
I mean, a couple of them have like a
dudes.
5 o'clock shadow. That's about it.
Yeah,
Right.
like I'm looking at this dude with like the multicolor hair and stuff. I'm like, come on. But also the trailer, the animation looks pretty rough.
It's Leiden Films, apparently.
But yeah, Slide Films is very hit or miss.
Also,
maybe
go ahead. Yeah.
maybe they ran out of money after doing a Call of the Night this season,
is that
which
too?
looks
Okay.
amazing.
The other thing about this that caught my eye is that the person for writing is Kimiko Ueno, who has done some very good work on Space Dandy.
Right, I was about to
Random
say,
Animal,
that's
Carol and Tuesday. And
the one who wrote the good episodes.
The good
Yeah,
episodes.
that's
Fistful
pretty decent resume.
Lubuko, Little Witch Academia. Though, like, for example, her work. Though, like, for example, her couple of episodes in Urei Deco, I didn't think were that great. And
Well, nobody bats 100.
right? But
hard to pull something out of a burning dumpster fire.
but like her episodes of Space Dandy and Little Witch Academia and Carol and Tuesday and all that are some of the best episodes in those shows. So,
Which Space Dandy
Sure.
episodes did she do?
oh god, I have to
off
pull
the
up the
top of my
list.
head, yeah, that's
My goodness, I believe okay, I'm stalling by speaking aloud. He did the. Let's see here. The zombie episode, the race episode, the Meow's Home Planet
The
episode,
Meow's Home
okay,
Planet
sure.
episode is a stone cold
Yeah.
classic.
the Chameleonian episode, the multiple universe versions episode,
Okay, yes, that's
Oh yeah.
the rock and roll band episode, and the
Oh yeah.
and the Dandy Has to Date Scarlet episode.
Those are. That's pretty much a roll call of some of the best episodes of that show.
Like I said.
so-
She did
Also-
the Broom Brace episode of Little Witch Academia.
And she wrote the baseball episode of BNA, so
yeah,
which is the best episode.
So that's encouraging.
right.
Yeah.
But that only means so much.
Yeah, I mean,
You still need like a
can only
solid
work-
premise and foundation to
Right.
work with, right? So
Yeah. Well, I think at its best this could be fun, but I'm not necessarily getting my hopes up.
Right.
I'm
It's
just amused by the concept of
Mhm.
yeah, sure, let's make a middle-aged idol group, but
It's a name on when I see on script. I go, oh,
Yeah,
So
I'll watch the first episode.
yeah.
All right, let's end on the big one here. I guess
The 800-pound chainsaw in the room.
the hype train has been building up steam for weeks and months now for Chainsaw Man. It's coming this season finally.
So, judging from the name of this, I'm assuming it's like an idol / slice of life cute thing show.
All right. I still have no idea what Chainsaw Man is. Can somebody
I'm
Sure,
with you.
I guess as
give me a little spoiler-free enlightenment?
Yeah, no, I guess as the one person here
By all
who
means,
is
G. Yeah.
familiar with the works of one Tatsuki Fujimoto, Chainsaw Man is a manga published in Weekly Shonen Jump by Tatsuki Fujimoto of Fire Punch fame. And I guess the basic premise of Chainsaw Man is it sort of takes place in, a modern day world, but a world in which demons exist and they are the personified representations of people's fears. The more a person fears a concept, the stronger a devil is. And
when you say they exist, is this common knowledge or is it still like a secret?
yes, it is pretty common knowledge. Yes,
right.
the sort of inciting event of the world of Chainsaw Man is, I guess, to keep it vague, is the apotheosis of the strongest devil, the devil that represents the fear the concept most feared in the world of Chainsaw Man, the Gun Devil. And
right, I have heard about this bit.
yes, but anyways, point is, so to kind of get back to the main story, the story's about a dude named Denji who lives with a little chainsaw devil who's like a little dog with a chainsaw coming out of his head. And they sort of work dead-end jobs and a rock-bottom lifestyle to pay off Denji's father's debts.
Right.
And
does this mean that... Sorry to interrupt, but does... You say he lives with the devil. Does this mean that he is scared of chainsaws?
Well, no. So, okay. How do I put this? It's not that a devil appears in relation to your personal fear. It is more that devils arise from the sort of collective unconscious of mankind's fears.
Somebody is afraid of a chainsaw.
Someone is afraid of a chainsaw.
A small group of people out there are afraid of chainsaws.
Yes.
Okay.
But basically, during one of these sort of dead-end jobs that Denji does, the job goes horribly wrong, and he's left dying. And the little chainsaw devil named Pochita basically offers, well, as devils tend to do, offers to make a deal with Denji to replace Denji's ruptured heart, giving him a second lease on life, on the condition that Denji lives true to his desires. Denji accepts the deal and becomes Chainsaw Man, a human with a devil's heart, and the ability to transform into the titular Chainsaw Man, which is... I don't know what to tell you. He is a man made of chainsaws.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a few examples of pictures of Chainsaw Man with a great deal of chainsaws. So
though I broadly understand the answer to the question I'm about to ask, I'm asking for the tape, which is, why is this a notable thing contrasted with, say, Bleach or My Hero Academia?
Sure. So the thing about...
Because this is Shonen Jump. Still,
yes,
right?
this is still Shonen Jump. I guess it's a little... Man, it's hard to describe without visual aid, but I guess I would say is that Tatsuki Fujimoto, the author of Chainsaw Man, has a really strong, aggressive sense of style, absurdism, and, like, sense of humor, I guess, is what I would say. Like, he knows how to be subversive without coming off as pretentious. Like, at the end of the day, like, on some level, Chainsaw Man is a schlocky gorefest, but it's a schlocky gorefest that's told in a surprisingly intelligent way and has some surprisingly interesting things to say and tells its story in a way that is unlike, I don't know, almost anything else that's ever been published in Weekly Shonen Jump.
I've heard it compared to like a Corman or Romero like zombie slasher film, that in the sense that like it is on one level like super like corny bargain basement shit, but like told with like a sort of spirit and glee and sort of energy that you don't really see a lot.
In fact, in a lot of ways, I think I might maybe actually compare Fujimoto's sensibility closer to like a Lynch or something, of someone who knows how to be schlocky and weird, but also like knows how to do it in like really, really interesting ways. And as for why Chainsaw Man has achieved its like insane mainstream popularity, I have to be honest, that part I don't actually have a good answer for it. As somebody
is it perhaps because it was free on the Manga Plus app every week next to your favorites like One Piece?
I was gonna say I've seen a lot of art of girls with neckties.
There's that too.
It does have that, yes. A lot of girls in pantsuits, if that's your thing.
I think, but also like it just has a great one sentence pitch, which is this dude who looks like a fucking chainsaw monster rips up demons. Like,
yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways,
that's a cool thing.
Like Chainsaw Man is just yet another in the lineage of works inspired by Devilman in a lot of ways, right? Like he who becomes a monster to fight monsters, essentially. But I guess it's hard because like Fujimoto is just such an interesting writer and artist. Like he's not quite like one tier, like, and I mean one of One Punch Man and Mob Psycho fame, but like his art is like kind of rough and like amateurish, but it makes up for it with like a really outstanding sense of like timing, shot framing, and composition. Like, stop me if you've heard this before, but Fujimoto is a really big fan of Western movies, and specifically film. And so the way he like composes panels, the way he paces action, it almost feels like film storyboard. And
I've not read Chainsaw Man, but I've read Look Back and Goodbye Eri,
which definitely have that same sort of sensibility.
Yeah,
and again, I guess maybe Chainsaw Man's just not as weird as I thought it was. Maybe Fujimoto's just not that weird. But I will admit, like Chainsaw Man's okay, Chainsaw Man being popular, I could believe and understand. The level of popularity enjoys.
Right.
I have to admit, I'm actually truly mystified by it.
I mean, when you say weird, I mean you're contrasting it to the formulaic Shonen Jump shows, right?
And that's probably an aspect of what it is, right? Is like I don't want to just describe how Chainsaw Man is subversive or whatever, because just saying it will not make it sound very interesting.
Right.
But
that'll be better experienced, right?
Yes, but there's definitely there's sort of a gleeful sense of like Fujimoto enjoys, like he took this opportunity to get published in Weekly Shonen Jump to take his favorite toys from the shonen genre and like rip them up and mutilate them in interesting ways, if that makes sense. Like he's still clearly having fun with the shonen like framework, but he is doing it in a way that I guess to maybe to people who are used to only your Narutos and Bleaches, it sort of comes off as unprecedented.
Like or, if you're even some person who's just, it's Sunday morning, so you open Manga Plus app to read One Piece and My Hero Academia and Black Clover or whatever, and then you're like, well, I guess see what else is on here because it's free, and then you see Chainsaw Man, right, and then you read it, and it's probably unlike anything else you've seen,
right? But I don't want to necessarily just frame Chainsaw Man's
I don't
want a sense of like, oh, it's only working on the roots, because look, I mean,
no, of course not, not. Yeah, I didn't mean to.
No, I'm not implying that you said that. It's just like, but I do think like it does stand on its own. Like, I mean, again, I don't want to spoil too much because I really do think Chainsaw Man is something that's going to be best experienced like on your own. But the main protagonist Denji is like, he's a very likable, like, dipshit, because, as I mentioned in the premise, the deal he makes with the devil is that he must live true to his desires, and Denji is a like comically simple character in a lot of ways. like, yes, you have your shonen protagonists who want to get the One Piece or become the Hokage, and then Denji's motivations are like, I want to eat bread that didn't come from a trash can, or I'd like to sleep under something slightly better than a cardboard box. And it's like that weird sort of like almost comically hangdog underdog vibe the guy has. Like, he has like a comical lack of imagination when it comes to his ambitions.
Right.
And I think a lot of that like works, especially in contrast to like the sort of like shonen framework that so many of us are used to.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna be the number one hero.
Exactly, right? Like, meanwhile, like, Denji's
like, I want to...
It's like, sweet, stale bread. It didn't come out of a trash can.
Oh, hot ladies.
And, I guess, and but I guess on the production side, I guess the other reason why Chainsaw Man is probably getting a lot of attention is that this is probably the big Mappa production of this year. You know,
trailer looks good.
They are clearly throwing a lot of their weight behind it. It's utterly bizarre for me to even say that Chainsaw Man is probably the most anticipated anime of the year, but
no, I would say it is without a doubt.
It is a if you told the me of like 5 years ago who read Fire Punch and a manga that revealed that the goal of one of its characters who is immortal and lives in a post-apocalyptic world, that their motivation was to bring back technology and culture to the same level as when the Star Wars movies were made, so that they would make a new Star Wars trilogy, and you told me that writer is behind one of the biggest properties to come out of Weekly Shonen Jump. I don't know if I believe you. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and here we are now.
Here we are. Chainsaw Man is poised to be the mega hit.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to me is that this seems to be a rare confluence of a work which is extremely highly regarded, a viewing audience which is very much into the work, and a top tier production, and you don't see that happen too often. And so I'm very interested to see, whether they can make something that's seminal, for want of a better word. Something like, I think they have the chance to make something that could really echo down the years, and that's a high expectation.
Right.
But
yeah, it's definitely that weird thing of like, I really do like Chainsaw Man, but there's just a part of me that can't help but be a bit nervous about this anime because I think. Because here's the thing.
You think they might round the corners off?
Well, not that. I'm just more worried that like people have built up Chainsaw Man too much. Like,
the expectations, right?
Right, like it's been noted that like this is maybe the first anime that, or like of Shonen Jump that was poised for success and was extremely successful before the anime happened, because stuff like My Hero Academia or Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer all got huge
bumps
because of the anime airing.
And what that meant is that most of those anime became very popular because they were like quite surprising to their audience, right? I mean,
right.
Neither you or I.
Chainsaw Man already has a huge audience,
and like it's almost like that weird Undertale effect of like, no, this work is actually really good, but also the way people talk about it as if it's like transcendent, like it has me a little, like I don't want to be like hedging my
it's like
bets
expectations
here,
may be too high.
Yeah, like the thing, like again, I want to be clear, like it's a schlocky gore fest with some interesting things to say, but you're not going to come away from Chainsaw Man like with a new like view on life or something,
Right.
Yeah, and
it's still about a man made out of chainsaws.
Yes.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, trailer looks great.
It does. It really does. And
I'm looking forward to actually figuring out what this thing is, but
You do not often get violent schlock with a budget big enough to match the net for a budget big enough for the necessary fireworks. So I'm really excited for that at the very least.
Yeah, for sure.
Why
Totally.
couldn't they have done this for Dorohedoro?
I'm sorry, Jill.
I mean, Dorohedoro was fine, but
No, it was fun. Look, hey, I'll say this. I like Chainsaw Man, but if you told me the world where I could switch the two budgets,
yeah.
I might take that deal. But
I mean, they're both Mappa. I mean,
yeah,
but yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I am trying to keep expectations reasonable, and yeah, I mean, it looks fun at the very least.
I think if nothing else, I think it will be. I think it's going to be a pretty fun production. It's one of those things. It's almost like the Spy Family thing of like the premise and the moments themselves are so solid that really the adaptation just needs to not drop the ball, and at worst, it'll be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Well, that's the end of the list.
Before we go, I have an important message from Peter. They say, watch Shadow's House. That's it.
Yes. Well, we will have our season wrap up next time,
Indeed.
in which we can
Already, Jesus.
re-emphasize
Oh my goodness.
that. Yeah, I think the 2 shows I'm watching will be over by the time by next week. So anyway, yes, you check out Shadow's House. I'll reiterate that next time as well when we're wrapping up the season. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode then. So
We're going to be real busy over the next few months.
Yeah, this next season is again like I don't know if we can say that like most of these shows will actually be good. I mean, a lot of them are pretty safe bets, right? Because they are sequels to things that we like. But in terms of stuff that feels like it is demanding to be watched, I can't think of a season as packed as this one in a long time.
yeah, like it's like I mean,
while,
because
yeah.
if you've watched the previous season, you have like at least some obligation to like check it out, right? But that said, I wonder what is going to be the show that we missed that comes out of nowhere.
There's always one.
Yeah. Punches us in the face. Yeah.
It's always the most fun thing. Like the dark horse is always the most fun thing.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right. Let's wrap things up with our housekeeping. You can check us out at theglorioblog.com, where we will inevitably be writing about many of these shows at some point in the near future. You can follow us on Twitter at theglorioblog. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher. And you can, of course, check us out on YouTube, where you can like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave us those 5-star comments or reviews, whatever. Comments. Tell us we're wrong about these shows. I don't know. It's all engagement. And, tell your friends. Tell your enemies. And we'll catch everybody next time.